Welcome to Outing Journal. The best camera is the camera which you can always carry with you. As you can see, here is my beloved camera, Olympus E-M5 Mark III with the Panasonic 12 to 32mm. The reason I love this 12 to 32mm over the 14 to 42 Olympus is the wide. 12mm is considered wide, not technically ultra wide. If you go to 10mm micro four third, that will be considered ultra wide, but I prefer the 12mm or the full frame is 24mm over the 14mm, which is the 28mm in full frame. So yeah, I put a black lens in my opinion with the silver. The silver Panasonic 12 to 32mm will be much better. As you can see, the compact size. I use this pouch and I can carry easily everywhere. I can vlog, I can take photo, and then again it can record DCI 4K around 233 megabits per second. So now let's hop on to this camera and start the vlogging. I'm going to use the eye enhanced profile 4K DCI, shutter priority 24 frame per second, and this is one of the only, it's not only okay, one of the few camera in the world, photography camera, which can record in 48 shutter speed. Normally most of the camera just record at 50. If you want a true cinema looking footage with some motion blur, then this is the camera to get. 24p frame rate, 48 shutter speed. Let's get started with it. So now this is the handle video. I'm holding the camera and I'm using Panasonic Blink 100 Pro with the lab mic. As you can see, this is the lab mic which I'm using. Okay, and I'm holding. This is the IBIS only. How good is the video quality? You need to be the judge. IBIS only, but you need to be the judge how good is the video quality. Let me just increase the exposure. Okay, how good is that? How good is the exposure and how good is the IBIS? So exposure +1 and IBIS, you have to be the judge how good is the IBIS. For example, I can easily do some autofocus test. Don't think that I do not own a full frame camera. I own my beloved Panasonic S5 full frame, but there's some magical spell happen when you're using a micro four third or compact camera, such as this one. I really like this one, like Olympus. There's some nostalgia. I love Olympus, but I love this camera. Pentax is not coming up with a mirrorless camera. So this is handle only. Handle. Let me lower the exposure to 0. Let me. So how good it is. I'm using the eye enhanced profile. Let me just go to the natural profile. This is the natural profile. Still IBIS. Yes, it is still IBIS. Natural profile. Still IBIS. Hand holding the camera. How good is the video quality? It is still IBIS. Hand holding the camera. I don't know who's calling me right now. I think it will be definitely my wife. Hello? Yes? I'm in the park. I'm coming home in few minutes. Okay. Yeah, I'm just making a video in front of the park. I'm not lying. Do not think that I'm cheating on my wife. So yeah, this is 12mm Panasonic 12 to 32 IBIS only. Let me do a quick autofocus test. Oh, I really like it. I really like it. I mean, I really like it. Handling the camera, IBIS only. You need to judge how good is the video quality. I mean, this is the most compact camera. Again, Sony ZV-1. You have to turn on the active stabilization, which turn into 30mm full frame. This is still at 24mm full frame. 12mm is the is 24mm and full frame. But with Sony ZV-1, I do not prefer Sony ZV-1 with vlogging because it's very tight. The focal length of Sony ZV-1, if we convert back into micro four thirds, it will be around 15mm. Do not get me wrong, I have vlogged in past with my EPL 9 and 10, Panasonic Leica 50mm 1.7. I have done in past. This is a quite nice camera, to be honest with you. This is a very nice camera. I'm really waiting for the Olympus Wow camera, but there's some disappointment. Like Olympus launched the Olympus 20mm 1.4, which is like 40mm 2.8 and still bigger than the Nikon mm f2. Olympus need to understand they have to come with a more pancake and compact lens. If why should I get a 20mm f1.4? Why shouldn't I just go and get a Nikon Z6 with 40mm f2? The Nikon 40mm f2 is like 20mm f1 in micro four thirds. I really do not understand why I really have to. Yeah, I do not like the Olympus 40mm f1.4. It's bulky unless you are going to use only for Pacific thing, maybe for some kind of landscape. Again, 40mm. A full frame of 20mm is a little bit tighter. I mean, I really don't understand what is the purpose, but don't get me wrong, I love Olympus. Now let me turn on the IBIS. Let me turn on the IBIS Plus electronic stabilization with 1.19 crop. So the 12mm will become like 14mm, 14.28mm, somewhere like that. It will be like 29mm in full frame. So the field will be tighter. Let's turn on the electronic stabilization with 1.19 crop. So the electronic stabilization is on with 1.19 crop. The 12mm became like around, I just need to make my marks ready. So it became like, how much? 12mm became like, yeah, 14.28mm. Yeah, it became 14.28mm. I know it's a little bit tight. But do it fix the background warping. Normally, if you are vlogging with 10 or 12mm, there's no background warping behind. If you don't have the background warping, like it's like this. Again, make sure to watch my Olympus E-M5 Mark III with the Panasonic 7-14. You will get the idea what I'm talking about. I will just ask you to you have to be the judge now. Let me just put on my marks. It's much better. I don't want to get through. Okay, something like that. I think I put my marks the upside way. So yeah, I have to put the marks because this is a public park. In a public property, you have to put the marks. That's why it's a public park. Whenever you enter a public space, it's much better to put the marks, or otherwise you will be fined up to $6,000 US. You will be fined up to $6,000 US. So okay, let me just turn around and do some walking test. Again, this is the electronic stabilization, IBIS Plus electronic stabilization. I can easily zoom if I want to demonstrate to you something. Zoom out, zoom out. Now let me just get back to the 12mm IBIS only. So now I'm back to IBIS only or true 12mm. Let me do a close-up test. I know that the f3.5 aperture will be like f7 in full frame. This is the close-up test. Let me do a zoom test. Zoom out test. Let us continue. You please let me know in the comment section box below how is the video quality. This is a natural profile. Nothing changed. Everything at the stock. The tracking and the sensitivity, the autofocus I max out. Okay, this is a fair deduction. I really do not have to. Like when you are using a Panasonic full frame, you really have to max out the tracking speed and I keep the sensitivity on 0 on Panasonic my S5. Don't, I'll be making some comparison with my Panasonic S5 also. I think let's get back to me. I really like it. I really like the video quality. I really like the color. I'm impressed. It's a very compact camera. I can hold this whole day long. The Olympus E-M5 body, including battery and card, weight around somewhere like 414 gram. The Panasonic 12-32mm pancake lens weight around 70 gram. So the total combined weight of the lens and body is around 484 gram. 484 gram, less than 500 gram. My Panasonic S5 with 20 to 60mm weight around 1 kilogram or 1000 gram. Wow, that weight 2 times more than my Olympus E-M5 Mark III. Again, you need to be the judge. You need to be the judge on deciding which camera you can carry everywhere. This camera I can carry everywhere on my, you see, I use this case to carry the camera. Let me show you. This is the case I use, and this is a landscape. Wow, I can easily also carry in my pocket. Yes, I can use this pocket to carry. Right, I'm using my Osmo pocket, so DJI Pocket 2, but I can carry here also easily. I mean, I really like this camera. I really like this camera. My intention was just to give you an idea. A lot of people think the vlogging camera, most of the vlogging camera on the market are crap. Sony ZV-1, no, active stabilization, you can't vlog with it. Sony ZV-E10, again, the active stabilization comes with 1.44 crop. Do not, please, do not get started with the catalyst browse. If you are recording a 5-minute video, it takes you around 2 hours to render. 2 hours to render. And 90% of your CPU will be using the entire, rendering. So yeah, the CPUs will be 90% for a 5 minutes video. Yeah, if you are using a window like ultra fast window, 8 core, it will take around 1 hour. On my M1 Mac, it take around 1 hour 45 minutes. Just call it 2 hours just to render a 5-6 minute video. So one thing I really wish the Olympus E-M5 Mark III have the flip down or flip up screen. I prefer the flip down screen of the Olympus EM10 Mark IV. So make sure to subscribe and check out the Outing Journal, my online travel blog. I hope you get a better idea of the capability of the Olympus EM5 Mark III. Bye. The world is very beautiful.